The bone flute. Many years ago, during the era we now call the Paleolithic, a family lived in a small forest. There was a father, a mother, and two daughters, the older one and the younger one, named Nara. They lived very differently from how we live today. In a very simple hut they had recently moved into from a cave, as the cave had been too cold, dark, and damp. Although the cave had offered better protection from wild animals, the family decided to try this new type of dwelling they had seen others using at the time. They already knew how to make fire, and they felt much safer now that they had left the dark cave. Just as some people today are exceptionally skilled in music and dance, like the Romani people who are unparalleled in these arts, there were families in the Paleolithic era renowned for their musical and dancing talents. Nara's family was one of these extraordinary families. Every member was exceptional, especially the men, who crafted all kinds of objects to produce loud, resonant sounds. They stretched animal hides and struck them with different sticks, creating various sizes of drums that produced different pitches. But their most precious instrument for them was a flute made by Nara's grandfather, discovered by Nara's father after the grandfather passed away. For a long time, it had not been played, as the grandfather had been ill towards the end of his life. Now, however, Nara's father gifted it to her, as he loved her dearly and had discovered her own musical talent. It was a marvelous instrument, crafted from the femur of a bear, with 4 holes, allowing it to produce not just a single note but multiple tones. Its voice was so sweet that it could melt even the heart of the cruelest person. Even the animals were fond of it when they heard Nara playing on it so beautifully. There was a fox who came near their house every evening just to listen to Nara play. Everyone said she had an enchanting flute, one that could tame even the wildest of creatures. Nara was a brunette, with skin that was rather dark in color, and she had bright, shining eyes. She was very loved by everyone, but her father loved her the most. One beautiful sunny day, after spending a long time indoors due to heavy rain, they decided to go out to gather mushrooms, as they often did. People in the Paleolithic era were much closer to nature than most of us are today. They knew very well which plants were edible and which were not, including mushrooms. They collected various types, with their father showing them what to pick and what to avoid. What happened next, we do not know for certain, but what is clear is that after they returned home and cooked the mushrooms, they all ate and fell horribly ill. They had stomachaches, headaches. It was terrible. But what was even more tragic, sweet Nara died then. Perhaps being the youngest in the family, her body couldn't withstand the poison of the mushrooms. You can imagine how devastated and sorrowful they all felt for her loss, especially her father, who mourned her deeply. He felt guilty for Nara's death. He stopped doing anything during the day, just cried, and at night he sighed in bed, staring longingly at the starry sky. That's what he did day after day, week after week, and month after month. He was no longer good for anything. He weakened, couldn't work, and didn't do anything. Until a wonderful event happened that changed his life. One night he dozed off a bit, but he didn't even know if it was true or a dream. He had the feeling as if it had happened in reality. Nara entered in his room. She was wearing a white dress, with something resembling dove wings on her back, and a crown of flowers in her hair. She looked at him, and with a calm but reproachful voice, she reprimanded his father and told him not to cry for her anymore.
I am well, don't cry for me, but rejoice because I am happy. I see you every day and it saddens me to see you crying. If you want to feel me closer to you, wake up at midnight and come to the garden, I'll sing for you.
That was the entire dream. But when the father woke up, he was a different man. He felt such peace and joy as he had never felt in his life before. He got up, aired the room, washed his face, ate, and went to work. He chopped wood all day, far from everyone, without saying a word. He didn't want to lose that happy state of mind. Everyone was amazed at how much he had changed all of a sudden, and that evening he called his wife and other daughter and told them what he had seen last night, to console them as well, and assured them that Nara was somewhere living and happy. Everyone rejoiced. There was only one thing he didn't tell anyone, that Nara had promised him that if he woke up at midnight and went to the garden, she would sing to him. He didn't tell anyone about that, but that's what he did. Every night he got up and went to the garden, sitting under a large tree, staring at the stars for hours, then returned to his room and went to bed. No one knew why he did this. But since he worked during the day and was always cheerful, no one asked anymore. Only he and the fox could hear Nara singing at night. No one else could hear the beautiful music. But the whole community noticed that after that night, this father started playing instruments again, especially that flute which had belonged first to his father and then to Nara, and everyone noticed that with each passing day, he played more and more beautiful melodies on it. They even dubbed it the Enchanted Flute. As the days passed, the enchanting melodies of the flute filled the hearts of the villagers with joy and hope, a reminder of the enduring power of love and the resilience of the human spirit. And so, in the quiet of the night, under the watchful gaze of the stars, the legacy of Nara's music continued to echo through the ages, weaving its magic into the fabric of their lives, forever cherished and remembered. This tale was inspired by a true story, and we dedicate it to the people who inspired us with their life. And the prehistoric flute was found in 1951 in what is now Hungary, in a cave called Istalasco.